Good afternoon. I'm Zachariah Azar here with the Shura Council's Nutrition and Healing Program. Welcome to all the viewers. Hopefully you've had a good week, and I welcome you, and hopefully we can discuss some topics that are useful for you and can help us guide our daily living in terms of health and nutrition and different supplements that we'll be taking. Today we wanted to discuss a little bit about sugar metabolism. We hear a lot about diabetes in society now. The numbers are staggering. I think they're predicting that a third of the U.S. By 2030 or 2035 will have or will be diagnosed with some form of diabetes. And of course, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we don't fall into that statistic. And number one thing that we can do and we can think about is always in our program we talk about nutrition and what it is that can keep us from falling into a disease state. In terms of nutrition, to get our control of the sugar metabolism, we want to make sure that we're not consuming too much carbohydrates that'll turn into sugars and get stored as sugar. And also the other side of it is insulin resistance. When we have too many sugar spikes in the body, then we have a lot of insulin that's produced, and if there's excess sugar, then we have insulin's resistance that develops as well. So these are the balancing act that we have to kind of perform, and based on this, we have to see what things we can take or what things we can, whether they're supplements or food products, what things we can take that will help us control our sugar metabolism. Of course, the ultimate way to do it is without drugs which have side effects. That would be ideal if we can do that. But if we can't, then of course, we go to our physicians, and our physicians will prescribe a drug like metformin or some sort of anti-diabetic medication, which we take regularly, and that will balance our blood sugars. What I wanted to talk about today was a couple of alternatives in terms of nutritionally speaking, the types of food to eat, and then also there's a type of salt or type of supplement known as berberine, berberine. There has been studies that have been done on this product, and it is a salt. It's an active component of the herb. They call it Coptis chinesis, Chinesis, and in Chinese medicine it's known as Huang Lin, and they use it all the time, and they use it as slang as Coptic salt or Kinin salt. That's what they call it. And typically you only need like a 0.2% solution of it, and it's effective against a lot of actual parasites and bacteria and viruses, as well as it's known to have blood thinning effects similar to aspirin. So this is the berberine, and it's found in most health stores, and you can order it online through Amazon, and they have it with turmeric and cayenne pepper together, and it regulates the body blood sugar. It's very important, and there was a couple of studies that were done back in 2008, and it showed that people with high blood sugar, when they took this supplement or this salt post-meal, their sugar had dropped very nicely to levels that were below a diabetic's. So there was it dropped, I think, from 356 to 199 milligrams per deciliter. So these studies are out there. You can look them up. Berberine is something which is very useful for fat metabolism and sugar metabolism, as well as it's a good blood thinner as well. So it's something which which helps not only with diabetic, but also with cholesterol levels as well. It decreases the cholesterol levels. There was the comparison in the study. They compared it to people who were taking the drug that's common for diabetes, which is metformin. So when they did a head-to-head study on this with the berberine and metformin, they found that this berberine significantly lowered cholesterol as well as blood sugar. So it has two benefits. And it was identical effect of metformin for glucose metabolism. So that's very important to keep in mind. And it dropped the HbA1c, the fasting blood glucose, the blood sugar after eating. All of that dropped, and lipid metabolism was altered as well. And they did this study for 13 weeks, and I think in the people that were taking the berberine, there was a 0.05 greater loss of triglycerides than the group that was taking metformin. So if you do have cholesterol and diabetes, berberine would be wonderful to talk to your doctor about and see if it's something which can benefit you. In general, of course, nutritionally speaking, we want to balance our intake of foods, the type of foods we're taking, because nowadays, combined with the sedentary lifestyle, the lack of exercise, and the processed foods and the fast foods, these things all lead to diabetes, especially nowadays in younger people too. Diabetes among young people is also increasing at exponential levels. So it's important for us to keep that in mind and kind of try to give our children and our families themselves whole, nutritious foods. The more you eat out, I think the more likelihood of getting these types of illnesses and getting altered metabolism of sugar in the body, and you get lots of sugar spikes. So these things need to be kind of focused on, and it's not something which you can just look at it once or twice, but it has to be something that is consistently maintained. It's very important to keep that in mind. And then with the whole foods, it's very important to have more proteins than carbs, obviously, and the short-acting sugars that we might eat, like a quick pasta or a bread or a rice. These things all turn into carbohydrates, and eventually high blood sugar once they get metabolized in the body. So we want to have more lean proteins. If you're going to feed your children something worthwhile where they want to remain full and have energy, you want to give them some type of lean protein, some type of white fish or chicken or even red meat once or twice a week. These things will give them far better nutrition than your pasta or your bread or your rice or your fast food hamburgers or tacos or things like that. It's very important to keep that in mind. And then berberine is something which you can get, which not only will help thin the blood, decrease the sugar, but also decreases the bad lipids in your body. So it has that trifecta effect. It's very good. A lot of people take it. It's a supplement. You can research it, discuss it with your doctor, and it should help you. And usually people take it with turmeric and cayenne. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory. Cayenne pepper helps absorb the berberine into the body and into the bloodstream. So that's very important to keep in mind. The glucose levels now, unfortunately, we see it also in the Middle East. The Middle East, specifically, right now, as we see the World Cup is going on in Qatar and the Khalij and these countries, they're having what's known as the fourth meal. So they'll have their traditional, breakfast, lunch, and dinner with their families, and then they go out and they have these fast foods like KFC, McDonald's, Arby's. There's a bunch of these franchises that have gone out there now, and these franchises late night they provide the fourth meal for all these young people. And of course, if you look at their epidemiological statistics, the numbers of diabetes and obesity are staggering in the Khaliji countries, in the Gulf countries, Qatar, UAE, Oman, Saudi, that whole area. And it's all due to this processed fast food that has become a very huge trend, huge trend. And sedentary lifestyle, again, everyone has cars. It's a hot environment. Exercise is tough during the day, and people get out during the night, and then they have the fast foods. The best thing you can do is try to have food for your family from home that's made with whole foods, that's balanced with greeny leafy vegetables, with fruit, with lentils, with beans, with legumes, with 3 to 5 ounces of a lean protein and a little bit of carbs. We want to make sure that we want to stay away from the processed foods. That's the key to balancing your sugar levels, as well as keeping hydrated as well. We find a lot that nowadays people don't get enough water. They're very, very dehydrated. And some people, you'll see they're severely dehydrated, where just water and Gatorade won't do anymore. They'll need an IV to actually balance out their body. So it's important to keep that in mind when you get up in the morning. You get a couple of glasses of water. That'll help as well with the metabolism of sugar in your body. Some people like to add lemon to it. Lemon's sort of a detox, natural herb supplement that detoxes the body and the organs. If you have room temperature lemon water in the morning. So these things are important to keep in mind. The diabetes, people that have diabetes, usually they end up with a correlation of high blood pressure as well. And blood pressure, obviously, what we want is the cardiovascular system, which are the arteries and the veins in the body. We want them to be soft and supple and expandable. We don't want them to be tight and rigid so that the pressure is high. This is something which puts us at risk for strokes and things like that. So we don't want any type of event like that, or embolisms. What we want are smooth vascular systems, meaning that you want what's known as the nitric oxide, which is a tissue expanding. It's a artery and vein expanding substance. Naturally, if you want to increase your NO, nitric oxide, beets are very high in NO, and they help you a lot. So people that have high blood pressure and people who have cardiovascular issues, from a nutritious standpoint, you would do very well if you eat green leafy vegetables as well as beets. Beets are very high in nitric oxide, and they help keep the arteries soft and supple and expanded rather than rigid and tight. So it helps you with lowering the blood pressure. These things are things that we can look into further, and there's a lot of research on these nutrients and these supplements. You can always use books like from the Mayo Clinic. They have a functional medicine website which gives you nutrition and benefits of various types of natural foods that you can take. And these things will help you regulate not only your blood sugars, but also your cholesterol, your blood pressure. It has an additive effect across the board. So it's very important. So lifestyle change, activity, exercise. Exercise also increases the amount of NO, nitric oxide, in the arteries and veins, and it helps expand them. It keeps them supple as well. So these things are very important. It's the old adage that people have been telling you all along. Good nutritious food, good movement and exercise, regular movement, avoiding a sedentary lifestyle, taking supplements like berberine that we've discussed. You discussed that with your doctor. Taking the green leafy vegetables, making sure that you're not stressing so your stress hormone doesn't go up, having consciousness and mindfulness so that you live your day moment by moment, and you live in the moment and don't stress about the future or the past. It's very important. These things are all going to help you maintain a healthy lifestyle. And with these things, if you keep in mind, it will regulate not only your sugar levels and glyceride levels, as well as your blood pressure, but it will also enhance your lifestyle in general so that you can live an optimal lifestyle and not have any major health issues or incidents. The whole goal is to decrease the inflammation, as we said, and inflammation is decreased by a lot of these supplements that we can take. Keep hydrated, keep moving, keep exercising, and this will help you come to a balanced lifestyle and health. With that, we'd like to end today's show. We'll see you next week on another topic. Take care and have a nice week.